Beamy, 32 years old, senior sales associate at a mid-sized tech firm. Life is good, great salary, even better commission. I am respected, I know my product, and I am good at what I do. Our sales team is a well-oiled machine. We are a mix of veterans and some newer talent, but we all click. Our manager, David, is a legend. Been with the company since it was a startup in a garage. He knows the business inside and out, and he fights for his team. We work hard, we play hard, and we consistently exceed our targets. The company thrives because we thrive. It is a simple, merit-based ecosystem. You sell, you get rewarded, everyone is happy. Then the email lands, subject. Welcoming our new Vice President of People and Culture. Her name is Serena. The email has a picture. She has that polished corporate look. Her bio is a masterclass in buzzwords. Synergy, paradigm shift, holistic empowerment, fostering inclusivity. It says she has a doctorate in gender studies and a background in transformative corporate restructuring. My first thought is, what does any of that have to do with selling software? I forward it to Maria, one of our top saleswomen, with the message, get a load of this. Maria has been with the company for 8 years. A single mom who put her 2 kids through college on her commission checks. She replies almost instantly, oh boy, here we go. David calls a team meeting the next morning. He looks tired. All right, everyone, settle down. I am sure you have all seen the announcement. Serena is our new head of human resources. I want us to give her a chance. Corporate wants to modernize, and she is the one they have chosen to lead the charge. There is a collective groan in the room. David holds up a hand. I know, but we are professionals. We will hear her out. We will be respectful. And we will keep hitting our numbers because that is what we do. We all nod, but there is a sense of unease. We are a sales team. We deal in numbers, in results. This new language feels alien, corporate jargon designed to obscure rather than clarify. Serena's first week is quiet. She schedules one-on-one meetings with every department head. David comes back from his looking like he has aged 5 years. She wants to evaluate our compensation structures for equity, he tells us, using air quotes. I told her our commission system is pure meritocracy. The best performers make the most money regardless of who they are. It is the fairest system there is. He sighs and rubs his temples. She smiled and said, but is it equitable? The first big change comes a month later. Mandatory weekly workshops. The topic, deconstructing unconscious bias in the workplace. The first session is a 3-hour slog. A consultant, a friend of Serena's, walks us through slides filled with academic theory. We are told about microaggressions, privilege, and intersectionality. The sales team, a mix of men and women of all ages and backgrounds, sits in stony silence. This is not our world. Our world is building relationships with clients, understanding their needs, and closing deals. After the third workshop, Maria speaks up. With all due respect, she says to the consultant, this is taking 3 hours a week away from our prime selling time. We have quotas to meet. The consultant gives her a condescending smile. I understand that the principles of equity can be challenging for those accustomed to traditional, competitive environments. Maria's eyes narrow. I am a single mother who has busted her tail for 8 years to be the best. Do not lecture me about traditional environments. Serena, who was observing from the back of the room, steps forward. Maria, we appreciate your perspective. But this is about creating a more inclusive culture for everyone. Sales is just one part of that, just one part of it. The engine that drives the entire company's revenue is just one part of it. That is when I knew we were in trouble. The next change is the commission structure. The old system was simple, a percentage of the revenue from every deal you closed. The new system is a labyrinthine mess. Serena calls it the holistic contribution model. Commission is no longer tied directly to sales. Instead, it is based on a complex formula that includes things like interdepartmental collaboration, mentorship activities, and cultural ambassadorship. No one understands what these terms mean in practice. How do you quantify cultural ambassadorship? David fights it. He has meeting after meeting with Serena and the chief executive officer. He shows them the numbers, the historical data, the projected revenue loss. You are disincentivizing our top performers, he argues. Sales is a meritocracy. You take that away, you kill the motivation. Serena's response is always the same. We are moving beyond a purely individualistic, profit-driven model to a more collaborative, community-oriented approach. The chief executive officer, a man who used to be a sales guy himself, seems to be completely under her spell. He nods along, talking about the future of work and our corporate social responsibility. The new commission plan is implemented. The first month's paychecks come out, and it is a disaster. Maria, who had a record-breaking sales month, sees her commission cut by 40%. Meanwhile, a new hire in marketing who organized a workplace positivity pizza party gets a massive bonus for enhancing company morale. The sales floor is a morgue. The energy, the friendly competition, the buzz of activity, it is all gone. People are just going through the motions. Calls are not being made, deals are not being closed. Why bother busting your hump to land a huge account when your paycheck is determined by a vague, subjective set of criteria that no one understands? Then came the hiring changes. Serena implements a new policy. All hiring decisions must be approved by a diversity and inclusion committee, which she chairs. Experience and qualifications are now secondary to identity metrics. We have an opening for a senior sales position. David has the perfect candidate, a guy with 15 years of experience, a Rolodex the size of a phone book, and a proven track record of exceeding targets. Serena vetoes the hire. The reason? Our demographic metrics for the sales team indicate a need to prioritize candidates from underrepresented backgrounds. Instead, she pushes through a candidate with zero sales experience, a recent graduate with a degree in sociology. Their main qualification seems to be that they tick the right boxes on Serena's diversity checklist. David is furious. "We are a sales team, not a social experiment," he yells in his office, forgetting to close the door. "We need people who can sell, not people who can fill a quota." Serena files a formal complaint against him for creating a hostile and non-inclusive work environment. David is forced to attend additional sensitivity training. The new hire lasts 2 months. They cannot handle the pressure, they do not understand the product, and they are terrified of picking up the phone. They quit, citing a toxic, high-pressure sales culture. Serena uses this as proof that the company needs even more of her reforms. The quarterly numbers come in and they are abysmal. Profits have plunged by 50%. For the first time in a decade, we have missed our targets by a wide margin. The chief executive officer calls an all-hands meeting. We are all expecting a reckoning. Instead, he praises Serena's bold leadership and her courage to challenge the status quo. He says that this is a transitional period and that we need to trust the process. He announces a new round of mandatory workshops, this time on emotional labor in the workplace. After the meeting, the veteran sales team gathers in the break room. The mood is grim. "I cannot do this anymore," says Mark, a guy who has been with the company for 20 years. "I have a mortgage and 2 kids in college. My income has been cut in half. I am being told that my entire career has been based on a system of oppression. For what? So some ideologue can feel good about herself?" Maria nods. "I am out. I have been interviewing. There are plenty of companies that still value the ability to sell." One by one, they all say the same thing. They are updating their resumes. They are calling their contacts. They are done. This is when the twist happens. It is not some big, dramatic reveal. It is a quiet conversation at an industry conference. I am having a drink with a guy from another tech company. We are commiserating about our respective corporate bureaucracies. I mention Serena's name. The guy chokes on his beer. Serena, short woman, talks like a walking human resources textbook. That is the one, I say. Wow, small world. She was at my last company in no tech. She did the exact same thing there. I lean forward, intrigued. What happened? He shakes his head. She destroyed it, drove out the entire engineering team with her policies, replaced them with a bunch of unqualified people who fit her ideological profile. The product went to trash, clients left in droves, and the company went bankrupt inside of a year. He takes a long sip of his beer. The word is she scrubbed it from her resume. When she was hired here, our chief executive officer never even knew. He just saw her fancy degree and her buzzword-filled presentations. I feel a cold pit in my stomach. It all makes sense now. This is not just misguided idealism. This is a pattern, a playbook of destruction. I go back to the office the next day and I do some digging. It is not hard to find. A few searches on the Internet Archive and some old press releases. In No Tech Solutions, a promising startup that imploded in record time, and there she is in the old staff photos, Serena, the vice president of people and culture. I show it to David. He looks at the screen, his face grim. I knew it, he says, his voice a low growl. I knew something was not right. The next day, David calls a meeting with the entire veteran sales team. He lays it all out for them. Serena's past, the bankruptcy of her previous company, the pattern of destruction. There is a moment of stunned silence and then a wave of cold fury. So she is a fraud, Maria says, her voice trembling with anger. She is a corporate arsonist who gets off on destroying successful companies from the inside. David nods. And we are next on her list. He looks around the room at the faces of the people he has worked with for years. I have a plan, he says, but it requires all of us to stick together. The end-of-quarter results are even worse than the last. Profits have now plummeted by 70%. The company is bleeding money. The chief executive officer is finally starting to look worried. He calls Serena into his office. We can see them through the glass walls. He is gesturing wildly at a chart. She is shaking her head, her expression one of calm condescension. This is where she panics, not in a loud, theatrical way, but in a quiet, desperate way. The chief executive officer tells her she needs to fix the sales numbers and fast. She has no idea how. Her entire worldview is based on the idea that profit is a dirty word, that sales is an oppressive system. She does not know how to motivate a sales team, how to close a deal, how to generate revenue. All she knows is how to deconstruct, to criticize, to tear down. She doubles down. She tells the chief executive officer that the problem is not her policies. The problem is the lingering toxic culture of the sales team. She says they are resisting the change and sabotaging her efforts. She recommends that the entire veteran sales team be fired and replaced with new hires who are more aligned with the company's new values. The chief executive officer, desperate and out of his depth, agrees. The next morning, David walks into the chief executive officer's office. He is not alone. The entire veteran sales team is with him, all 12 of us. We walk in an orderly line and stand in a semicircle around the chief executive officer's desk. Serena is there looking smug. She thinks we are here to be fired. David places a single piece of paper on the desk. It is his resignation. Then one by one, each of us does the same. 12 letters of resignation in a neat pile on the chief executive officer's expensive mahogany desk. The chief executive officer's face goes white. Serena's smug expression vanishes, replaced by a look of pure, unadulterated panic. "What is this?" the chief executive officer stammers. "This is the economic reality you have been ignoring," David says, his voice calm and steady. "We are the people who generate every single dollar of revenue for this company. And you have allowed this woman to systematically destroy our ability to do our jobs." Maria steps forward. "We are not waiting to be fired. We quit, all of us. We have accepted positions at your biggest competitor. We start on Monday." She smiles, a cold, sharp smile. They have a great commission structure, purely merit-based. Funny how that works. The chief executive officer looks at Serena, his eyes wide with a mixture of terror and dawning comprehension. "What have you done?" he whispers. Serena is speechless. Her entire theoretical framework has just collided with the brick wall of reality. She has no answer, no buzzwords. No academic theory to explain away the fact that she has just decapitated the company's entire revenue-generating division. We walk out of that office, leaving the two of them in a state of stunned silence. The news spreads through the company like wildfire. The sales team, the heart and soul of the company, is gone. Overnight, the stock price plummets. Clients, hearing that their trusted contacts have left, start pulling their accounts. The company is in freefall. 2 days later, we get the news. Serena has been fired. The chief executive officer has been forced to resign by the board of directors. The new interim chief executive officer is a familiar face. David, his first call is to Maria. His second is to me. He offers us our jobs back, our old commission structure guaranteed in writing, a public apology from the company, and a significant pay raise for our trouble. We all accept. We walk back into that office the following Monday, not as defeated employees, but as conquering heroes. The rest of the company gives us a standing ovation. It takes time to rebuild. We have lost ground to our competitors, but we have our team back, we have our purpose back. And we have a leader who understands that a business at its core is about creating value, not virtue signaling. Sometimes the most powerful statement you can make is to simply walk away, to know your worth and to refuse to let anyone devalue it. We learned that lesson the hard way. But it is a lesson that has made us stronger, more united, and more determined than ever to succeed. And that is a victory that no amount of corporate jargon can ever take away.